The number one mistake causing you to not lose fat easily is doing the right things at the wrong time. Trying intuitively eating when you haven't mastered the basics. Jumping to HIIT when you've been a couch potato. Cutting out carbs for the sake of weight loss. Any of this sound familiar? It's not that these methods don't work. They do when you're at the stage where they are the right tool. This is why a workout or diet can work for your friend, but not you. The gap in your skills and the targeted method is too wide. What you need is an incremental plan to level up your fat loss skills. So here are the stages mapped across body fat percentage. We are not looking at weight because weight consists of muscle too. So you could lose a bunch of weight of which majority is muscle and end up looking like this instead of what you actually want to look like. Body fat percentage is the closest metric to what you actually want to accomplish with fat loss, so that's what we will use. And second, while being over 30% body fat for women and over 20% body fat for men is unhealthy, so is being under 16% body fat for women and 6% body fat for men. And then let's plot the two main efforts as we lose body fat percentage. First is our actions, which is nutrition and exercise. When you are in the high body fat percentage range, the number of nutrition and exercise things you need to do is actually quite minimal. If you're shocked by this, given all the hardcore meal plans and workout routines out there, worry not. I'm going to lay out exactly what is the minimal amount you need to do per stage and why anything more is unnecessary. And then as you drop body fat percentage, the number of nutrition and exercise things you need to pay attention to increases like this. The second important effort you're simultaneously undertaking is working on your thoughts. Think about it. Pun intended. You already know what to do. Eat more nutritious foods than junk and sweets and move more than you are now. That's it. So what's stopping you? It's your mindless habits like ordering takeout when you're too tired to cook or mindlessly munching on snacks as you work. And where do these mindless habits come from? Your subconscious, which is your automatic thoughts and emotions. Some of these thoughts and emotions are about your relationship with food, some are about your beliefs about yourself, and some are about what you believe to be scientifically true for fat loss. If you're at a high body fat percentage, getting your beliefs in alignment with reality is where the bulk of the work lies. And then as they come into alignment with reality, they become part of your subconscious, which means they become automatic, and this reduces the psychological effort you have to put in as you keep reducing body fat. And then as you tip over from a healthy body fat percentage to a too low unhealthy body fat percentage, the psychological effort shoots up again because your body is fighting you harder than ever before. Zooming into the high body fat percentage stage first, there are three main actions you need to take. 1. Eat 10 to 15% less than your maintenance calories over a week. That's right. It's not the day-to-day that matters as much as your average over a week. This gives you flexibility on how to structure your targets on a daily basis, thus aiding the easy part of fat loss with ease. Now, even though you're consuming fewer calories, your body still needs enough nutrients to feel satiated and be convinced to keep this luxury item you have called muscle. Why? Maintaining muscle requires far more energy than maintaining fat. So when you are intaking fewer calories, aka lesser energy than needed to maintain your size, your body starts to clean house. And the first thing it tries to get rid of is your muscle mass. To mitigate this as much as possible, the second action you take is eating enough protein. Don't worry, I don't mean bodybuilder style 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight amount, but rather a moderate target like 15 to 20% of your calories coming from protein. This, firstly, mitigates how much muscle you lose as a result of eating in a calorie deficit, and second, protein is far more satiating than carbs or fat. This in turn reduces your hunger frequency, leading to less snacking and thus an easier time staying in a calorie deficit. Now, despite all these guardrails in place, you will lose some muscle. The key is to lose more fat than muscle. So body fat percentage wise, you end up looking defined at your goal weight instead of squishy. This is why the last action you need to take at this stage is to be consistent in when and how you check in on your progress. You need to track your body fat percentage, not just weight, at the same day of the week, at the same time before any food or water, using the exact same measurement tools and on the same flooring every week. If you weigh yourself randomly, then your progress looks like this, which is misleading and will cause you to react in a way that sabotages you. Instead, if if you measure consistently over a 7-day time period, then you can trust the trends you see. And yep, exercise is not a necessary action at this stage. You can choose to do whatever you like for your mental health, but from a purely weight loss point of view, it's not your bottleneck to your progress right now. Similarly, making nutrition more complicated, like focusing on carb cutting or cycling, is also overkill. Instead, channel 100% of your limited time and energy into nailing your actual bottlenecks, the 3 main actions. Moving on to the thoughts side of things, there are 3 main areas to work on. First is understanding the actual personal science of how your body loses fat. Typically, and this is a broad generalization, there are 3 weight loss graphs I see. Yours may cleanly fall into one of these buckets, or maybe yours has a different trend. Either way, imagine if you didn't know which was your body's natural trend. Like you thought you were type A when actually you're type C. You could force a type A trend with extreme diets and workouts, but as a type C, you'd end up with a squishy, skinny, fat body instead of what a natural type A would end up with. And worse, the type A found the process easy and finds maintenance natural, while you struggled the whole way and now are slowly regaining the fat you lost. This is why it is crucial you understand how your body likes to lose fat so you can react to your progress correctly. Second is understanding the actual science behind your physiology, as in what's normal hunger, cravings, and energy when losing fat. For example, if you think that feeling hunger ever is your body acting out, or the opposite, that if you feel hunger you're about to trip into starvation mode, then neither are true. Similarly, expecting your body to express the same amount of hunger each and every day is also false. And if you tolerate a steep drop in energy while losing weight, then that's a bad idea. These and many more misconceptions run abound in typical fat loss media. And last is understanding the actual science behind your psychology. A typical misconception here is focusing on consistency over recovery, as in counting the number of days you did your actions, aka consistency, instead of counting the number of days it took you to get back on the wagon after you fell off, aka recovery time. The way the human mind works is we can't be 100% consistent. It's impossible. So work with your mind. Expect that you will fall off the wagon. This isn't a bad thing, it's a natural thing. And shift your focus instead on shortening your recovery times, which then as a byproduct improves your overall consistency. The other thing to do is convert your mindless behaviors into mindful behaviors. For example, if you're someone who snacks when working, it's either helping you deal with the stress of solving a challenging problem, or relieving the pain of boredom, or addressing some other emotional need. When you map out the trigger to action to reward cycle for this, you convert this mindless behavior into a conscious one. And now you can start poking and tweaking this behavior chain to make it more aligned with achieving your goals. And as you answer these thought areas, they feed back into the how of achieving your actions. This adds a mini action to practice, which is why the actions line curves up. If you do all of this correctly, you will reach the healthy body fat percentage range with ease. At this stage, actions-wise, you keep doing the actions you're already doing, and you add on 2 other actions. Thankfully, a lot of the thoughts work should have become subconscious by now, so you have the bandwidth to add more actions. First new action is exercise. To see which type to add first, let's look at this calorie burn chart. It shows that majority of our burn comes from just maintaining your current size. And the next most calorie burn, about 15%, comes from your daily movements like walking, twitching, etc. Next 10% is the energy burn digesting the foods you eat. And last 5% is formal exercise like your cardio or strength sessions. Additionally, I imagine no matter what your exact dream body, you don't picture yourself getting out of breath climbing 1 flight of stairs, right? This is actually a reality for many bodybuilders who focus exclusively on resistance training alone. So the first thing exercise-wise is to maximize this 15% of daily movements. Aim for 42,000 to 70,000 steps a week and about 150 minutes per week of raising your heart rate. This can be accomplished by climbing some stairs or hills on your walks, or walking faster for a part of it, or you could do a more intentional thing like running, biking, or whatever else you like. Then after you have this dialed in, you want to add resistance training for looks, strength, and performance reasons. You want to gradually build up to resistance training 2 to 3 times a week. There isn't a need at this stage to do more than this as long as your training program is effective. Tip: you want to work foundations up. And I'm a big fan of periodization to make sure you don't overdevelop on top of an underdeveloped foundation. This is a whole other video. Let me know in the comments if you want me to dive into this more. Now, once you're happy with your body composition and are ready for maintenance, the second new action is making your way into intuitive eating so you can stop tracking. The dream, and it's totally possible. I maintain 20% body fat all year round by intuitive eating and doing the exercise actions I described earlier. That's it. There are many strategies on how to ease your way into intuitive eating, but the main principle is to strip back one guardrail at a time. So for example, if you have been meeting a calorie target so far, track without a target for the next few weeks and use your weekly check-ins to see how you're doing. Once you nail that, then take away tracking some days and only use your weekly check-ins, and so on until you're not tracking anything. And thoughts-wise, the only work is to manage your psychology when it comes to switching to maintenance. It is normal to feel fearful of letting go of all of the guardrails that got you to this point. It is also normal to get caught up in the momentum of finally making easy and good progress on your body goals, such that you want to keep optimizing your body. We see a lot of our Badass Body Boss students fall into this trap, but pause and ask yourself if your dream life actually needs further optimizations to your body. And finally, if you choose to continue lowering your body fat percentage into the unhealthy range so you have those chiseled popping abs, then now is when all of the details start to matter. In terms of actions, these include fasted cardio versus fed cardio, HIIT versus LISS, food minutiae like quinoa versus rice, meat cuts, etc., supplements, carb cycling and carb cutting, maximizing protein intake, meal timing, highly personalized training routines, and so on and so forth. And in terms of thoughts, you need very high consistency to stay here. A feat made much harder by your body making you hungry, low energy, and so on at this stage. I did an interview with my friend Maria, an ex-bodybuilder, who speaks to just how hard the fight was. Check it out if your goal is to get to this range. Now, you know the what's and when's, but the how's can still be tricky. For example, real data is messier, so how to tell which type you are, and how to know if you're truly stuck, which by the way is also normal. Everyone gets stuck 2 to 4 months into losing fat, then how do you get unstuck? And so on. Two things. One, if you want me to help you navigate the real world messiness of fat loss, then my Badass Body Boss program may be a fit for you. You can gauge fit by checking out the free sneak peek to it in the description and comments below. And second, you don't want to ignore this video where my co-coach Lucy shows blow by blow the messy reality of losing fat through nutrition alone. No exercise. Just like what you need to do in the high body fat percentage range. I totally recommend you check it out so you know how to deal with the messy reality of losing fat yourself. And always remember, you can do it.